Welcome to another video from Avenue X, looking at Chinese dramaland in the past week. Let's get right into it. During this week, on May the 22nd, we've had a drama that just happened on iQIYI, as usual, not getting any promotion. It is a 33 episode contemporary romantic drama called 开化少女漫, the comic band, and it's led by Cheng Lie Xiong and Wang Jingxuan, a drama that I have no idea it exists. And it was actually shot back in 2022. So it has actually long finished post-production for whatever reason, whether it's the production company or the platform that held it off from airing, it just never got aired until suddenly 2025. It seems this is the year to air all the refrigerated dramas. In this case, the male lead character is somebody who does young girls audience-orientated comic drawing, or more like manga really, who hides his identity from his friends and other people because he doesn't necessarily want the people to know that he actually does this. And then he'll run into our female lead character who also has a passion in that. This is actually based on an existing Japanese manga. So it's like a manga adaptation that was made quite a while ago, never aired for whatever reason, suddenly showed up. Personally, I may not have time to go and check out the drama, but just in case you're wondering, it is on iQIYI now. Then we have two dramas that have both announced they're gonna go live on May the 28th. The longer one will be coming from Tencent, 24 episodes, very typical contemporary romantic drama young adults called 陷入我们的热恋. I believe when it was shooting, I've talked about it, and when it finished shooting, I talked about it, and now it's already about to air. Be Passionately in Love is its English title, and it's led by Wang Anyu and Liu Haocun. They've released a new trailer this week. It just looks like a pretty normal and typical romantic idol drama. When the time comes, I'll see if I have time. I have time, I'll go and check it out. I'll try my best. The other drama that will be airing on the same day will be coming from iQIYI, and it is the shorter drama, only 8 episodes, and that is the drama that no matter what, I definitely will check out. 在人间, What a Wonderful World, led by Zhao Liying and Yingfang. Thriller, psychology, mystery, drama about a person having multiple personalities. Just because of the nature of the story, regardless of who is leading it, it sounds just really interesting. And obviously, because it features Zhao Liying as the lead actress, gonna get a lot of attention. And it's only 8 episodes, so pretty much when iQIYI releases it, it will finish airing it in a week's time. And for this type of very, very short and then heavily relying on character setup, story structure, and how exciting and page-turning it is, if by the end of the first episode it doesn't grab you, it has failed. Honestly, 2025 so far has been very disappointing. So I sincerely pray that it will turn out to be a good drama. Then let's talk about dramas that have gotten license, wrapped up shooting, or starting to shoot. We have a drama that has gotten its license during this week. It is called 牙舌. English title is The Company. From Tencent, 30 episodes, and it's based on a web novel led by Gao Weiguang and Liang Jinkang, also featuring Zhang Miaoyi and Mao Xiaohui. This is a fantastic urban legend type of story of a contemporary guy who is a vet meets a future comer, a time traveler type of from the future who owns an antique shop, and they go on all types of adventure to figure out the stories behind those artifacts. Previously, when I was reading people's reaction to this drama being made, a lot of book fans weren't very happy about the casting choices. I have no idea because I don't read web novel. I just know that it's being talked about since day one of that production. We also have a drama that has wrapped shooting during this week. This is a contemporary police drama from Youku called Cheng Lie Xiong, and that is its title. It doesn't have an English title yet. It is led by Wang Yang, Wan Qian, Yuan. Judging by the video they've released upon wrapping, that includes a part of the drama itself, some interviews, some special features mixed in one edit. It seems to be a mainly 2-case drama that is set in early 2010s. And it started with a bank heist case. When the police tries to break the case, they dig out an older case that's like over 13 years old cold case. It becomes a 2-case investigation at the same time type of story. And Wang Yang and Wan Qian, they both play policemen, I think. And then Yuan, the Hong Kong actor, plays the bad guy, at least based on what I can see. Since they've just wrapped, it will be at least the end of this year when this drama can come out, and we shall see by then whether it's an interesting crime drama. Then we have 2 dramas that have already started shooting a while ago, finally started to release official materials, like character poster, like video snippets of things that they've shot, both looking like heavy realism drama. So, first one is from iQIYI. Only a couple of weeks ago, I talked about the drama being heavy realism and Huge's another big project and collaboration with Zhong Yuanyuan after many years, which is 生命树. The English title officially right now is Born to be Alive, the up in Tibet, taking care of the ecosystem, making sure nobody poaches very precious Tibetan antelope drama led by him, Yang Zi, and many familiar faces that usually show up in Zhong Yuanyuan drama. So they've released the proper posters. They've also released a, let's say, like a concept video of what the story is about, featuring our main lead actors and actress, so you can take a look at it. Definitely going down that heavy realism route and looking very properly done. And I feel in the contemporary realism drama category from Zhong Yuanyuan Daylight Entertainment, this is probably one of their bigger projects they've had in a couple of years' time. The other one is from Tencent, and it has also been in shooting for a while. 实用主义者的爱情. I think I've talked about it also. It is led by Chen Feiyu and Sun Tian. They've released posters, they've released video. From the tiny video, they act in a way that reminds you more of a 2020s young people falling in love instead of the 1970s. I wasn't born in the 70s, but my mother was young enough in the 70s, and she's got plenty of photos left from that period. And I've seen, when I was little, older stuff that's made, played by actors who actually were the right age. To me, at least their performance and their vibe reads still too much like a 2020s person. And also the hair texture, like I really see these things. Back in the 70s and 80s, Chinese people don't have shampoo. It does not exist. It didn't come around until late 80s, early 90s, and that is still if you live in like first tier city. Otherwise, you only have soap. There's no conditioning, none of that stuff. Some people don't even get soap. Like they wash with natural plant remedies, which is a Chinese traditional hair, whatever washing thing. It results in a very different texture of hair when it gets dried. So if you look at old videos of people in the 70s, 80s, and old photos, you can notice their hair really shine and volumes in a different way than the contemporary just being conditioned hair in the 2000s. And just that one thing makes me feel like it's not really sitting correctly. In the 1970s, the hair is not reflecting sunlight in the right way. I know it's weird, but I see these things and I instantly get taken out of the imagined space that story tries to put me in. Anyway, again, it is drama that's being shot now. Fastest end of this year, probably next year, we can see this one. Then we also have multiple dramas that have started shooting during this week. First, we have a 20 episodes Tencent contemporary metropolis setting midlife crisis drama led by Liao Fan and Nini called 人间清醒. English title is Fate Finds Us. Ooh, that doesn't sound like a very good title. And if you look at their casting, and then even when they start shooting the ceremony photo, it is these two playing a mid-aged couple living in Beijing under a lot of pressure in 2020s. Already I feel my blood pressure rising. And also you see a kid. So they're like the typical three people family living in first tier city in China these days, probably holding white collar job, but under humongous amount of pressure, like 4 grandparents, 1 kid, you also have your job to do, your mortgage to pay. Oh, just think about that. I can already see like all the typical plot that's gonna happen to this couple. And I guess the most attractive thing obviously would be the combination of Liao Fan and Nini, both being pretty good actors. Then, very quickly mentioning, iQIYI has officially started shooting the Ferry Man 10th anniversary, 灵魂摆渡, all original cast from, well, 10 years ago. I've talked about this a couple of weeks ago before when they announced this project. This is such a great case of 活久见, live long enough to see. So we finally lived long enough to see something like this happening. Good luck to them and hope it turns out to be a great 10 years anniversary sequel. Also, a contemporary realism drama, 30 episodes from iQIYI has started production. It is called Zhong Qi. No official English title yet. The Chinese title itself means something that is heavy and weighted and important piece of anything. Usually it's to do with technology, but in this case, I think it is to do with a metaphorical importance, which is the legal system, the court, the prosecution, and it's going to touch pretty much all the legal jobs because this is looking at a class of classmates, 5 of them who graduate and go to different branches working in the legal system. It is produced by iQIYI, but another producer of this is the Chinese Supreme Prosecution. And the scriptwriter is, again, the most active and still working her ass off 70-year-old scriptwriter lady, Zhao Dongling. She's been writing so many scripts and making so many dramas. Sometimes I wonder, is it actually possible for her to write all the things by herself? Just physically typing these things out is quite incredible to think that a 70-year-old person would be doing that. And it is gonna be led by Huang Jingyu, Jiang Qiming, Zhang Jianing, Jiang Peiyao, Yan Peilun. Putting these people's faces in my head, I kind of can guess what this drama will vibe like. It probably will be quite proper, quite serious. Similar to dramas such as 警察荣誉 you've seen coming from iQIYI, also written by this scriptwriter. Then, to wrap up today's video, we're gonna talk about 2 things that have happened to Chinese entertainment. First is, during this week, they released the news about the passing of a very well-known actress, Zhu Yuanyuan, who probably will not be that familiar to international audiences due to she is definitely quite a few generations before the current young active actors. Zhu Yuanyuan was born in 1974, and so she passed away at the age of 51 due to cancer, and she's actually been having it for over 5 years. And this is sent out and announced by her husband, who is a very famous actor, Xin Baiqing, who's currently having the drama airing on iQIYI and Mango, Lost National Treasure drama, that's been airing around right now at episode 10 or something. One of the lead actor in that, and he's been around in Dramaland and film for ages, and a very good actor. And she was a very good actress too, and she played some very iconic characters. I'd say in her earlier career. Later, after marriage, she doesn't do that much acting anymore. But recently, she actually just wrapped a drama. She played a role in the city-making drama, City Maker, that has Zhao Liying and Huang Xiaoming in it. And she was still shooting the drama, and very soon after that, really right after it wrapped, she passed away. Apparently, she's had the cancer for 5 years and she never told anybody. So publicly, entertainment business, nobody knew this. They kept it really well under wrap. She belongs to the generation of actors and actors that my parents are very familiar with, and they like her very much. So it's just a very sad situation. Then we have another completely on the opposite end of spectrum of gossip and drama of entertainment business, which is the total house claps, but not house claps at the same time, situation on the young actress Huang Tiantian. She's a very cute actress. She made herself known back in the days of Chu Qiaozhuan, which is quite a while ago. She played the young Chu Qiao, the young Zhao Liying, and since then, breaking into the industry, she's played so many roles as the younger version of all the female leads. Up to this point, a couple of years ago, she starts to take more major roles, like major supporting roles in dramas such as Yu Zheng's drama. And only just finished shooting was the Binghu Chongsheng Rebirth with Li Yunrui, where she literally plays Chu Qiao again, this time as the real Chu Qiao, not as the young version, who I've actually really liked with her acting up to now, because she is quite pretty and she's a good enough actress, really, and she looks great in period costumes and stuff. She will not be cancelled, I don't think, because she's a minor up to like a few days ago. Personally, she hasn't really done anything, stepping on the red tape, but does not mean her future career is not gonna get affected heavily and severely by it. The story starts with a social media post and her earring. So she got to 18 years old and she had a huge celebration of her 成人礼, which is becoming an adult. She posted on social media of herself celebrating that, which is totally fine, dressed really nicely. And then people noticed she was wearing this very pretty green gemstone earring. Well, it's internet. Everybody can know instantly what is the brand, what is the design, and they found out it comes from the luxury brand of jewelry that is Graf. And just that pair of earring back in the 2013s when it first came out or whatever was sold, it's like 2.3 million RMB. Divide that by 7 would be the USD dollars, which is quite expensive, but then not unbelievable for a entertainment business star. But then she's been a child actor, so she's not fully adult, and up to this point she really barely played any definitive leads. She's always the younger version or the supporting row. And people very sensitively found out a couple of things. First is this pair of earrings don't get sold separately. They are in a set that includes ring and then necklace, and adding that whole set together is 20 million, which is quite a lot of money. And for people who can afford 20 million jewelries, that means they probably have 200 million. I mean, more than that, probably 10 times that money to happily and easily just buy it. So it makes people wonder, like, what's her family background? Why would she have that much money? And then they dig out everything. Her father used to be a civil servant. That's a big problem. Who actually quitted working for the government back in 2017 and started to do business. So it's only been 8 years since her dad left that post and become a private business owner. How much money can you earn in that? Like, what kind of business do you have to be in to get that rich that quickly? And then so people question about where is the starting point of the business? How did it get the initial fund? Because if you are working for the government, there's a lot of limit about what you can do. And people kept digging and finding out the name, the phone number, everything about the dad and also her mother. And then older photos about the whole set where her mother wears the ring and the necklace, so you know it's a whole set, and other really expensive jewelries they have. Even the photos she's taken with the background in her house where there's a whole shelf of expensive jewelries. So people start to question where the money comes from. And it just happens to be her father used to work for a smaller city in Sichuan province called Yuan that had a really big earthquake back in 2013, and a lot of people donated money for that earthquake. And people start to question whether the dad has anything to do with dealing with the money that comes in from all types of donation and whether there's corruption involved in it. So it got bigger and bigger, and everybody started to dig out everything about her mother, her mother's brother, and a lot of shady business that have happened in their family. Anyway, within a week, her whole family story is being exposed on internet, and it caused the local government of the Yan city actually come out and issuing a very official statement. It has just been announced a case actually has been filed of investigation of her father's background and deeds and what has happened. And so far, what they have found would be there is no clear evidence that the dad is involved in any type of corruption, particularly taking the donation money of the earthquake. But he did get questioned about whether his action of taking part of private business is legal, because if you are a civil servant, you cannot actually hold a private business. So is there anything illegal that he's done to get a private business? That's been under investigation. Also, Huang Tiantian has a biological younger brother who was born obviously after her, but before the two-child policy. So if that's the case and the dad is a civil servant, then he will get penalties because that's not allowed. So these are the two things that he is being investigated against right now. Now on internet, the netizens' general opinion is there's no way that it's not linked to any type of corruption, but maybe the net is so wide and it touches so many people that eventually this thing will just not go anywhere. They will try to find a few simpler and just on this guy himself and not ruffle any other feather and turn other stone crimes that he has committed and then see what fits. The overall atmosphere is everybody is drinking tea and eating melon and not believing the official statement that he's only charged with the second child and then the private business owning against his civil servant civil job. Now, whatever the dad has done and wherever the money of this family comes from, technically has nothing to do with Huang Tiantian as an individual because she's a minor. But obviously, that's not how internet would view her. They would think she's the rich second generation who got the wealth in ways that basically she doesn't deserve and shouldn't happen. And if it has anything to do with the actual earthquake and all the donation thing, then that's even more unacceptable. And personally, as an actress, she's not gonna get cancelled because of this, but it would be naive to think that her career doesn't get impact from this. For example, spokesmanship will not take her on with that suspicion in the background. And even when eventually the investigation is cleared, people are not going to believe it because her family really has too much money to make sense that happens in 8 years. Like, what kind of business can you do to get that much money to suddenly have huge houses and millions and millions RMB worth of jewelry, just jewelry. Like if you look at anything else she shows in her social media, it's all just quite unbelievable, like how big a wealth the family has. She basically has that following her name now. It does not make sense for any good brand to be attached and associated with her. It also wouldn't make sense for producers to pick her unless they have no choice. They'll be like, well, we have safer choices. Like, you have potential landmine that may explode at any time. Even though she wouldn't get in any way officially banned, it's unlikely that her actress career will go anywhere now from this point. And in time, we will for sure get the official announcement of what the dad has been charged with, even if it doesn't land on any type of confirmation of corruption. I'm pretty sure in most people's mind, it is. They've already decided you're not gonna change that opinion of people. It just happens to also be, since probably back in 2020, when the Zheng Shuang thing happened, that was like the beginning, and then you have Wu Yifan and all those people start to house clubs and in a massive scale, that to this point now, everyone is pretty much aware of, in the entertainment business, there are so many capitals babies, money's babies, second generation, third generation, nepotism, all types of like special privileged classes people who end up in the business, who already have more than enough and so much more than the normal people in the society, and they just keep getting more. It's like the rich just get richer situation and the poor get poorer. Overall, the society is not happy about that. It happens in every country these days, and China has its own version, let's say. So she, being the highly privileged second generation of very questionable wealth from the parents' generation, now is not gonna have an easy time. And also, she personally hasn't established a big enough presence in the industry yet because she is minor, right? Just turned 18. It will be a very different situation if she's 28 and she's already tier 1 actress, right? And then you find out her parents used to be that. But then people say, well, she's already been successful for a decade. She can collect that wealth herself, so it definitely is not gonna be even questioned if she wears really expensive jewelry. But unfortunately, this is just what happens. So what do you think? Like, have you watched her work? Do you think it's a pity that this is happening? Reality again beats drama. Innocently, unknowingly, and probably showing off, right? Her grand ceremony of becoming an adult shows a photo of her wearing her mother's jewelry, and next thing you know, your dad and your mother is toast. For the super rich people, if they get shady money, right, the most important thing they need to do first is not to buy a huge safe to keep the money safe, is to educate their kids to not go out and mess it up and do stupid things to expose them. Anyway, that is the epic thing that has happened to Chinese entertainment this week, and I think this is not at the end yet. As this investigation keeps going, right, we'll find out more. And I do hope Rebirth doesn't get taken off and never being able to air again, like all those refrigerated dramas. It would be actually really pathetic if they had to change her, like just after the drama wrapped, right? They have to AI face swap or find another person to reshoot, like what they've done with Love Never Fails. I feel like the producer, which is this lady, very well known. She also plays in a lot of dramas as supporting characters. She probably is like ramming her head into the wall right now. Who'd think, right? Being in entertainment business is such a high risk profession. That should be the end of this video. Thank you for watching Avenue X. I'll see you in my next video. Meanwhile, live long and happy drama watching.